Hello everyone, and welcome to my future Pico Reef. A couple of days ago on nano-reef.com, a new contest was announced. It is the Creative Container Pico Contest, and anyone who wants to enter can do so by October 31st, and the contest runs until the end of March, so it's a 6-month contest. Yesterday I went out to Target and Hobby Lobby to get these 4 containers to see which one I might want to use for the contest. I've got a couple ranging in different volumes, a 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons, 2.5 gallons, and 3 gallons. Right off the bat, I've decided not to use the 1.5 gallon or 3 gallon containers because the glass on them is rather thin. Another reason I decided not to use those two is because the bottoms of the containers are rounded, which I felt would make it a little difficult to put sand, rocks, place any corals. I liked the idea of having a flat bottom container more. So then the choice was between the 2 gallon terrarium and the 2.5 gallon anchor hawking jar with a lid. I decided in the end to go with the 2 gallon terrarium on the wooden base for a couple of reasons. Even though the 2.5 gallon jar does come with a lid, it's a metal lid that is relatively secure, so I would have to come up with a different lid anyways. So regardless of which container I chose, I would need to come up with a lid solution. The reason why I gravitated towards the terrarium on the wooden base is just for the way that it looks. I feel that this is a container that I could have set up for a while. It looks nice, it's cute, and I think it would be really fun to sort of aquascape some different corals and rocks in it because the base is pretty big compared to the other jars. So this is the container that I've gone with. I am considering sealing the base with polyurethane because it doesn't really have a finish to the wood, and if I polyurethane it may help seal the wood from any saltwater spills or drips. So this is the container I've chosen. Right off the bat, I know that I will have 2 challenges. The first challenge being a lid, and along with that will be any evaporation. So that's something that I need to think about relatively quickly, is how I can cover it and avoid too much evaporation. I do have 2 vacations coming up later this year and at the beginning of next year, so I definitely need to come up with something so that I don't have big salinity swings when I'm not home. Later today, I am going to clean up my office, which is where I have my current fish tanks. I need to clean it up, get myself organized in there so that I can find a place to put this tank. The other details of this contest are that the container needs to be 3 gallons or less. We can use any heater. We can use an air pump or power head, but no sort of mechanical filtration. So I can't stick a hang-on filter, I can't work a sump into the system. It has to be all filtration through basically the rocks and the sand. And we can use a single par bulb as a light. This sort of makes the contest really easy for anyone to get involved. If you have tanks already, it's probably equipment you have lying around, and it's definitely equipment you can get for relatively cheap or inexpensively. There are no restrictions on what kind of livestock or how much you can spend on livestock, so it'll be really interesting to see what I come up with for this and what everyone else comes up with. That's all for now. I will probably give you a little clip once I've placed the tank in the spot where it's going to go. I do plan on updating sort of like a video aquarium journal on how this tank progresses, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so this is my office slash tank room slash craft room slash cat room. It is the room in the house where I just kind of stick all my stuff, my little girl cave, if you want to call it. You're familiar with my 2 tanks. It's a bit early in the day, so the lights are not on yet. And then I now have my Pico tank, which I've put on my craft table. The cool thing about this table is that the middle section is a compartment, is actually a vanity table. I keep tools and stuff in there. There's a big mirror in there as well. But this is a perfect craft table for me, and the Pico jar fits just nicely next to that middle compartment. So then I have some of my equipment options here. Obviously I need a surge protector. I'm likely going to mount this underneath the table. I have a little Hydor 25 watt heater. I may or may not use this. It's kind of big, and because the Pico jar tank is curved, it's hard to put it in place. We'll see how that goes. I also have a no-name little air pump. There's literally like no brand on it or anything, and some airline tubing. I'm not thinking I'm going to end up using this though. I think I'm going to prefer to use either this Hydor pump or the Coralia. I don't think that the airline is going to be enough flow, so I did a little bit of experimenting earlier with flow in the tank with just some regular water, an extra rock that I had, and the Coralia, and it seems to work pretty well. I'm not sure if it's going to be actually too much flow, but then that just means that I can put some hardier corals in the tank. So that's the equipment I have for now. What I am missing is sand. I will be putting sand in the bottom of the tank. It actually has a little bit of a bump. It's got a curved bottom. So I had set the rock in the middle of it, and then over the course of the day, I actually have roofers here today, so they were sort of bumping and clanging around upstairs on the roof, and the rock ended up sliding over to the side. So I'm definitely going to have to put some sand in the bottom to make sure that any rocks I have are stable. So I need to get sand, I need to get an extra rock or two. I do not have a bulb or a lamp for the bulb. I'm hoping to get some sort of like an architect lamp like this one. This is my task light for when I'm doing crafts. Unfortunately, a reef bulb will not fit in it, so I'm going to have to go buy a separate one. But those are the only things I think I'm going to need. Again, some sand, some rocks, a bulb, and then a lamp. I'm still not sure what I'm going to put in the tank. I'm thinking I'm going to grab a couple of corals from my lagoon tank that are getting too big or just sort of in the way and put them in this tank. It would be a really easy way to stock this little Pico up without having to buy anything new. And I think that's about it. Later today I'm going to try to polyurethane the base. The wood is finished, but it's not sealed. So I'm going to take a little spot, or I'm going to do a little spot test on the bottom of the base to see what the polyurethane does. Otherwise, I'm worried that I'm going to drip salt water on it and it's going to get water spots. So I'm hoping that'll work. That's about it. So that's going to be it for this portion of the video journal for my Pico tank. The tank, the equipment, my plans for it. Next time, hopefully when I do a video, I'll have the tank filled with water, rock, sand, and some corals. I'll have the light set up, and hopefully that'll be going for a week or two so you guys can see how it looks actually running. If you have any questions about the way that I set up this Pico tank, definitely leave your comments down below. If you have any suggestions as well for keeping a Pico tank happy, leave those too. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to know about the setup of this Pico tank, and I will be sure to include it in a future video. I really appreciate you guys watching. Like this video, subscribe for updates when my next video comes out. I'm really trying to do these every weekend, so hopefully that trend continues. Again, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.